Alright, so I've decided to do a video of before, in the middle of, and after when this computer build is all said and done. So, first off, you have a nice mid-tower case. It's got a nice divide for my power supply, so it's going to create a nice airflow with those two fans right there, pulling fresh air in from the front. You got two up on top, pulling out, and then you've got one in the rear, and then of course your power supply unit has one venting out the rear of the case as well, pulling from the bottom below, and it kind of keeps a nice airflow with that divider down there. And this is a what is it, PC? It's some sort of it's like a PC. Let's see if I can't see the name. It's a do-it-yourself PC case. They make great cases for a very reasonable price, which I can appreciate. They kind of avoid some of the fancier packaging and stuff. This case specifically, I got for, $37.99 out the door. I think you can get a great case for under $40. It's pretty important to keep that low because you can definitely get crazy, and really there's no need for that. It's also, just kind of going over it, it's got a really nice, what I like about this is it's very easy to clean. It's a mesh filter, and it has the magnets to hold it in place, makes it really easy to clean and keeps it really nice looking as well. Then on the top, you've got your power and some fan control, some USB 3.0s, or yeah, 3.0s I believe over there, the blues. And then just some standard USB. And then for the front, you know, it has a nice, clean, sleek look. I'm not building a gaming rig. I'm actually building just a desktop PC so I can do some development. So I don't need anything that's supposed to be gaming. These are just all components of a just a desktop build for some online and maybe CPU heavy tasking. I do have a clear case on there because I like to admire what I do. I think it looks clean when it's all done, and I appreciate that. So for storage, we have a 1 terabyte Western Digital Blue. It's got the 64 megabyte cache. It's got a 720 7200 RPMs, which is a good thing for just a storage drive because I will be using this little PNY 120 gigabyte SATA drive as my boot drive, which is going to make everything just fly and run really smooth. So that's what this is for. And then all my storage I will use that for, which will give me a great storage bank for all the stuff I need to store. This is the Intel Core i7. It's a 7th generation. It's the 7700. It's a good, I don't know, middle to higher, higher use CPU. What I like about it is this is just a fresh build. I'm not upgrading. I wouldn't necessarily, upgrade to this CPU if I had something comparable, whether it's a 6th generation or even the Intel Core i5. It's just a fresh build, so I'm going with it. And then the stock CPU coolers are not near what they should be, so and I'm sure they figure that everyone wants to upgrade their fans, so here I am. This fan's only like $22. It's a really nice quiet. It's the PWM, which is it's the water, or it's got like a lubricant between the ball bearings that the blade is using to spin with. So that's a nice thing with that. You've got 16 gigabytes of RAM here. It's the new DDR4. It's nothing crazy speed-wise. It's just a nice, solid DDR4 RAM. Let's see. I've got a power supply here by Raidmax. It's the Scorpio. This was less, I don't know, $40 or less. And what I liked about it was that it was bronze certified. It was also just about fully modular, so I like that to keep my builds clean, allow some good airflow to go through the case, and just to prevent any of that dust from building up anywhere in the case. And then I also like the fact that there's not just a ton of cables that you're having to deal with. Lastly, you've got your motherboard by MSI. It's got the new chipset, the Z270 chipset, which is what's to be paired up with your Intel Core i7, the 7th generation. Even if you're doing your own build and you have a Z170, you can just update the firmware in order to use your Core i7 7th generation. But to be honest with you, look at the stats, and I don't think it'd be really worth upgrading just for like the 7th generation of the Intel i7 processors. Okay, other than that, that's pretty much an overview of everything, and I'll get a little ways into it and I'll give you an update.